Hello, I'm Congressman Buddy Carter, and I have the honor and privilege of representing the 1st Congressional District of Georgia. Our district is a beautiful one, and we appreciate the opportunity to host you and to share it with you. I'm sorry that I'm unable to be there in person with you today, but I am happy to still have the chance to share some thoughts with you. Our manufacturers are hard at work keeping our state running. Without y'all and your advocacy, our state would not be where it is today. Manufacturers today face an onslaught of regulations from the current administration. Regulations like the EPA's PM 2.5 proposed rule could severely restrain our ability to build and manufacture in the United States. In fact, the total cost of federal regulations in 2022 is estimated to be $3.079 trillion, almost 12% of U.S. GDP. I'll continue to be a voice for protecting manufacturing in the U.S., especially through my position on the Energy and Commerce Committee. Our manufacturers drive economic development and have helped cement the Peach State's position as the #1 state in the country to do business. Now I'm going to take a moment to update you on some things that's going on in Washington, D.C. Well, folks, as you know, the Republican Conference has been searching for a new Speaker of the House. Finally, we have one, and he's a good one. My good friend, Mike Johnson from Louisiana. Mike's an effective legislator. He's a constitutional expert, and he's a strong conservative. I'm very excited to have him as our Speaker of the House. He's already proven that he can lead and unite our conference by winning the gavel with unanimous Republican votes. Mike spent more than 2 decades defending the Constitution and has the expertise necessary to move the goalpost on key issues. As we all know, democracy is messy, and the American people just got a front row seat to it. I supported Kevin McCarthy, and I disagreed with the decision to oust him, but I'm happy where we landed and ready to get back to doing the people's work. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, our strongest ally in the Middle East, Israel, is under attack. Terrorist organizations like Hamas and Hezbollah, backed by Iran, have attacked the Israeli state and the Jewish people with despicable acts of terror. House Republicans stand firmly with Israel. I stand with Israel. I was proud to co-sponsor a bipartisan resolution that condemns Hamas in the strongest terms and expresses our unconditional and unwavering support for Israel in its right to defend itself. I'm happy to share with you that we were able to pass this resolution this week. Hamas is a terrorist organization that is murdering civilians. It is indefensible and it's sick. However, that isn't the only thing House Republicans have done to express our solidarity with Israel. In February of 2023, in a strong show of support for our ally, House Republican leadership sent a letter to President Biden encouraging the administration to oppose and veto any anti-Israel resolution put before the UN Security Council. In April of 2023, House Republicans voted to support the expansion of the Abraham Accords to encourage nations to normalize relations with Israel and express continued support for bilateral cooperation across economic, security, and civilian issues. In May of 2023, House Republicans voted to condemn the rise of anti-Semitism and call on elected officials to identify and educate others on the contributions of the Jewish American community. In June of 2023, House Republicans voted to establish a special envoy for the Abraham Accords at the Department of State to strengthen and expand the Abraham Accords. I also had the pleasure of leading a Georgia delegation-wide video expressing our strong support for the nation of Israel and its right to defend itself and its citizens. Sending an aid package to Israel is our conference's top legislative priority right now, along with funding the government. President Biden has sent a request tying together aid to Israel with funding for Ukraine and other priorities. Those are separate issues that must be handled as such. Short of sending U.S. troops, I'm in favor of a weapons and financial assistance package for Israel so it can stomp out the Hamas terrorists. Also this past week, we passed H.R. 4394, which appropriated funds to many different aspects of our country's infrastructure. As I previously stated, one of the House Republicans' top priorities is funding our government, and this bill helps us along that process. The legislation cuts wasteful spending in Washington, prioritizes our energy security, and economic competitiveness and supports a strong national security. In the legislation, there were some important wins for our district. I was able to secure much needed funds for the Brunswick Harbor to the tune of $11.4 million. Projects like this contribute to Georgia's status as the #1 state in the nation to do business. This project will have an annual economic impact of $2.3 million. Included in the bill was $10 million that will help the University of Georgia with several projects across the state as well. Again, I'm sorry that I'm unable to be with you today, but I am happy that I'm able to share some thoughts with you. As always, God bless the 1st Congressional District of Georgia, and God bless America.